Hi guys, welcome to your Sunday evening Fulham quiz. How you doing? I hope you're well, hope you're all good, hope you're all staying safe. What we're going to do is we are going to do 4 rounds for you. They are going to be broken up into 4 categories. The first round will be general knowledge. The second round will be Fulham records. The third round managers, and the fourth round is the Europa League campaign. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to rattle through all 4 rounds without a break. So you're going to need to go and get yourselves a pen and paper now. Cool. Well done. We're going to do that. We're going to rattle through the questions without a break. They're going to pause for 5 minutes. So you can make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a biscuit, maybe get a cold beer out the fridge. And then I'm going to go and give you all your answers. Okay, this is all based on trust, guys. Okay, so no cheating, no Googling. If you're going to cheat, you're only cheating yourselves. All right? No one wants to do that. And then afterwards, we want you to let us know on Twitter how you got on. Okay, this is tough. Some of these, some tough questions here. Okay, this is not going to be a walk in the park. Not going to be a walk in the Bishop's Park. All right, this is going to be tough. So, without further ado, I am going to get things going. As long as we've all got our pen and paper ready. Round 1. General knowledge. Question number 1. Who has completed the most passes for Fulham this season? That's question number 1. Who has completed the most passes for Fulham this season? Question number 2. How many times have Fulham reached the FA Cup semi-finals? Question number 2. How many times have Fulham reached the FA Cup semi-finals? Question number 3. In what year did we play our first match at Craven Cottage? I mean, that's a tough one, isn't it? In what year did we play our first match at Craven Cottage? That is tough. Question number 4. What was Collins John's first squad number at Fulham? Question number 4. What was Collins John's first squad number at Fulham? Question number 5. The first Asian player to score in the Premier League was at Fulham. What was his name? The first Asian player to score in the Premier League was at Fulham. What was his name? I expect most of you will get that one right. Question number 6. Who did Fulham beat in the final of the Intertoto Cup? Who did Fulham beat in the final of the Intertoto Cup? We won it one time. Right, question number 7. Which player did Fulham allegedly sign in exchange for 30 tracksuits? Which player did Fulham allegedly sign in exchange for 30 tracksuits? Right, question number 8. Who was the first American to play for Fulham? Who was the first American to play for Fulham? Who started it all? The love affair between Fulham and America. Fulham-America. Who was the first American player to play for Fulham? Question number 9. Prior to Alexander Mitrovic, who was the last player to hit 20 goals for Fulham in a season? Prior to Alexander Mitrovic, who was the last player to hit 20 goals for Fulham in a season? And question number 10. The final question of our Fulham general knowledge round. Who was the last Fulham player to represent England? Who was the last Fulham player to represent England? Okay, that is it for your general knowledge round. It is out of 10. There is 1 point per answer, no matter how many answers you have to write down. Okay? Our next round is Fulham records. Okay, again, this is it's going to be tough. I told you it wasn't going to be easy. Question number 1. Who is responsible for scoring more goals than anyone else against Fulham? Question number 1. Who is responsible for scoring more goals than anyone else against Fulham? Question number 2. Name the 3 youngest players to represent Fulham. Question number 2. Name the 3 youngest players to represent Fulham. Question number 3. Who is the oldest outfield player to represent Fulham in the Premier League? Question number 3. Who is the oldest outfield player to represent Fulham in the Premier League? Question number 4. Who has made the most Premier League appearances for Fulham? Number 4. Who has made the most Premier League appearances for Fulham? Question number 5. In what decade was Fulham's biggest ever win? Question number 5. In what decade was Fulham's biggest ever win? Question number 6. Which side have Fulham taken the most points off of in the last 20 years? That's quite tricky. It's quite tricky. Here we go. Question number 6. Which side have Fulham taken the most points off of in the last 20 years? Question number 7. Who scored the first Premier League goal at Craven Cottage? Who scored the first Premier League goal at Craven Cottage? Question number 8. Fulham had never scored a Premier League hat-trick before hitting 3 of them in the 2011-2012 season. Whose came first? Was it Andrew Johnson, Clint Dempsey, or Pavel Pogrebniak? That is, Fulham have never scored a Premier League hat-trick before hitting 3 in the 2011-2012 season. Whose came first? Andrew Johnson, Clint Dempsey, or Pavel Pogrebniak's? Question number 9. Ryan Sessegnon became our youngest scorer when he netted against Cardiff in August 2016, breaking a record that had been set by whom just 11 days earlier? So question number 9, Ryan Sessegnon became our youngest scorer when he netted against Cardiff in August 2016, breaking a record that had been set just 11 days earlier by whom? And question number 10, what was significant about Maurice Voltz's goal against Chelsea in December 2006? That is the final question in this round. Question number 10. What was significant about Maurice Voltz's goal against Chelsea in December 2006? Okay, that is the final question of the Fulham Records round. Okay, again, 1 point for each correct answer. Our next round is Fulham managers. Okay, here we go. Question number 1, Fulham managers. Which manager ended his promotion-winning season with more points? Was it Kevin Keegan or Jean Tigana? Which manager ended his promotion-winning season with more points? Kevin Keegan or Jean Tigana? Question number 2. How many England caps did Scott Parker win? Question number 2. How many England caps did Scotty P win? All right, question number 3. Which country did Slaviša Jokanovic represent at World Cup 98 and Euro 2000? Which country did Slaviša Jokanovic represent at World Cup 98 and Euro 2000? Question number 4. Which manager won more points per games? Scott Parker, Slaviša Jokanovic, Roy Hodgson, or Jean Tigana? Which manager won more points per games? Scott Parker, Slaviša Jokanovic, Roy Hodgson, or Jean Tigana? Question number 5. We're going back here. How many times did player-manager Mickey Adams start himself in the Division 3 promotion campaign of 1996 to 97? Was it 0, 2, 5, or 10? So how many times did player-manager Mickey Adams start himself in the Division 3 promotion campaign from 96 to 97? Was it 0 times, 2 times, 5 times, or 10 times? Okay. Question number 6. Who did Roy Hodgson take with him to Liverpool in 2010? Question number 6. Who did Roy Hodgson take with him to Liverpool in 2010? Question number 7. How many Fulham managers have later gone on to manage England? How many Fulham managers have later gone on to manage England? Question number 8. Which major tournament did Jean Tigana win with France in his playing days? It's question number 8. Which major tournament did Jean Tigana win with France in his playing days? Question number 9. How old was Chris Coleman when he was named Fulham manager? How old was Chris Coleman when he was named Fulham manager? And finally, question number 10. Who was Martin Jol's first signing as Fulham manager? This is a tough one. Remember, no cheating. Who was Martin Jol's first signing as Fulham manager? And that completes our third round, the Fulham managers round. And we're going to move on to our final round, which is the Europa League season round. Okay, again, 10 questions, 1 point for each correct answer. Question number 1. How many European matches did we play in 2009-2010? So how many European matches did we play in 2009-2010? Question number 2. How many of them did we lose? Question number 2. How many of those matches did we lose? Question number 3. 3 future Fulham players scored against us in Europe. Name them. 3 future Fulham players scored against us in Europe. Name them. I want all 3 answers for 1 point. Question number 4. How many of the teams we met in the knockout stages started their campaign in the Champions League group stages? So, how many of the teams we met in the knockout stages started the campaign in the Champions League group stages? Question number 5. Who did Clint Dempsey come on for in the home win over Juventus? Now, you should all know this, as it was only just on telly like a week and a half ago. I say on telly, on the Fulham website. We got to watch it all in real time, which was a joy. So, who did Clint Dempsey come on for in the home win over Juventus? Question number 6. Who delivered the corner for Zoltan Gera's winner against Hamburg? Question number 6. Who delivered the corner for Zoltan Gera's winner against Hamburg? Okay. Question number 7. What injury was Bobby Zamora struggling with in the latter stages? Question number 7. What injury was Bobby Zamora struggling with in the latter stages? Question number 8. It's a tough one, sorry for bringing it up. But it's a quiz, we got to do it. In what minute did Diego Forlan score the winner in the final? How dare he? Dark times. Question number 8. In what minute did Diego Forlan score the winner in the final, breaking hundreds of thousands of Fulham fans' hearts? That wasn't written down as the question, I'm just adding that. Question number 9. How many times did we have a player sent off in the competition? Question number 9. How many times did we have a player sent off in the competition? Okay, and question number 10. Oh man, I hope I get this, I pronounce this correctly. Question number 10, and I've finally been tripped up by pronunciation. Zubabula, Pansil, Risa, Dempsey and Nevland. Who are the 2 missing players from our bench at the final? Zubabula, apologies if I've got that wrong, I'm sure I have. Zubabula, Pansil, Risa, Dempsey and Nevland. Who are the 2 other players missing from our bench at the final? Again, just 1 point for both those answers, and I want them both. So there we go. That completes our Fulham quiz. You've got the 4 rounds. It's 1 point for each answer. So there is a possible 40 points up for grabs here. What we're going to do now, before I give you all the answers, we're going to take 5 minutes where you guys can go make yourself a cup of tea, maybe sit there and rack your brains about the couple of answers that you just can't remember, you can't think of, that are right there. We're going to give you 5 minutes for that. So make yourself a cup of tea. Oh, drop my phone. Make yourself a cup of tea, grab yourself a biscuit, maybe get a cold beer out the fridge. I'm going to see you back here with the answers in 5 minutes. So that's it. Your 5 minutes is over. Pens and pencils down. The exam is finished. I hope you've found the time to grab yourself a biscuit, maybe go to the toilet if you need the toilet, grab yourself a beer from the fridge, a cold beer, maybe made yourself a nice hot cup of tea. But that's it. It's over. We're now going to go through all the answers. It's a possible 40 points. I want you to be very honest with your marking. Remember, only cheating yourself if you cheat. It is going to be 1 point per correct answer. And then we want you guys to share with us on Twitter how you guys got on. There were some very, very tough questions. So, I mean, mad respect to anyone who managed to get close to 40. We will see. But here we go. The answers for you now. The first round was general knowledge. The first question. Who has completed the most passes for Fulham this season? The answer, Tim Ream. Tim Ream is the answer. He has completed 2,569 passes, the most of any player in the Championship. A close second is Tom Kearney with 1,969. He is the second at Fulham with 1,969, but the answer was Tim Ream. Question number 2. How many times have Fulham reached the FA Cup semi-finals? The answer, 6 times. 6 times they have reached the FA Cup semi-finals in 1908, 1936, 1958, 1962, 1975, and 2002. So it is 6 times. Question number 3. In what year did we play our first match at Craven Cottage? Tough one. 1896. 1896. I mean, it's like over 120 years ago. Incredible. They bought the cottage, a little bit of a fact for you now. The cottage was bought in 1894, but it took a couple of years to get ready to play there. The first match as well, for those that want to know, it was a 4-0 win over Minerva. I hope I pronounced that right. A team called Minerva in October 1896. Question number 4. What was Collins John's first squad number at Fulham? It was 36. It was number 36. He moved to number 15 pretty quickly. But the first half of the season, he wore number 36. Question number 5. The first Asian player to score in the Premier League was at Fulham. What was his name? Junichi Inamoto. Of course it was. What a player. Fantastic. Before his goal in the comeback against Spurs in 2002, nobody from an Asian country had scored in the Premier League. Junichi Inamoto. Question number 6. Who did Fulham beat in the final of the Intertoto Cup? We won it one time. It was Bologna. We drew the first leg 2-2 in Italy, but an Inamoto hat-trick secured a 3-1 win in the return leg. And also, I think the campaign to rename the cup, the Inamoto Cup, started at that exact moment. Question number 7. Which player did Fulham allegedly sign in exchange for 30 tracksuits? Which player did Fulham allegedly sign in exchange for 30 tracksuits? The answer? Zat Knight from Rushall Olympic. It wasn't an official transfer as Knight wasn't under contract at Rushall, so as the story goes, Mohammed Al-Fayed sent them the kit as a gesture of goodwill. Question number 8. Who was the first American to play for Fulham? The first American to play for Fulham was Eddie Lewis. He actually signed after Marcus Hanneman, but the goalkeeper didn't appear for the first team for some time. So the answer, Eddie Lewis. The first of many, many Americans to play for Fulham. Question number 9. Prior to Alexander Mitrovic, who was the last player to hit 20 goals for Fulham in a season? The answer, Ross McCormack. It was Ross McCormack was the last player. He scored 23 times in the 2015-2016 season. 23 times. And question number 10, the final question of our general knowledge Fulham round. Who was the last Fulham player to represent England? The answer, Bobby Zamora. Bobby Zamora, his second and final cap came in a 1-0 win over Sweden at Wembley in November 2011. So there we go. Tot up your answers there. It's out of a possible 10. We're going to move on to our next round for Fulham records. Here we go. Question number 1. Who is responsible for scoring more goals than anyone else against Fulham? The answer, and we should know this as he scored against us very, very recently, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney. He scored 13 goals in 26 games against Fulham. Ruud van Nistelrooy had a much better ratio, but did score fewer. He got 10 goals in 11 games against us. How dare he? But yeah, the answer there, Wayne Rooney. Question number 2. Name the 3 youngest players to represent Fulham. The answers, Harvey Elliott, Matthew Briggs, and Ryan Sessegnon. Harvey was the youngest. He was 15 years, 5 months and 21 days. And he made his debut against Millwall last season. Question number 3. Who is the oldest outfield player to represent Fulham in the Premier League? Love this man. What a player. So passionate. It was Karagounis. Georgios Karagounis, or Gorgeous George. I mean, he had a number of nicknames, but he was 37 years old, 1 month, 13 days, when he came off the bench against Spurs in April 2014. And I remember he had a knack for only scoring absolute screamers, utter worldies. He was a legend. Love that man. Question number 4. Who has made the most Premier League appearances for Fulham? The answer, Brede Hangeland. What a player. He had 217 of his 272 Fulham appearances came in the Premier League. So 217 of his 272 Fulham appearances came in the Premier League. Very cool. Question number 5. In what decade was Fulham's biggest ever win? Now, this comes up on TV basically every year when it's Boxing Day, as they show those mad results. Fulham scoring the most goals that day. Of course they did. Standard. It was the 1960s. It was Boxing Day in 1963, and we won 10-1 against Ipswich Town. So the 1960s is the answer we're looking for there. Question number 6. Which side have Fulham taken the most points off of in the last 20 years? The answer, I would have guessed Norwich, but I would have been wrong. The answer was Bolton Wanderers. We've taken 52 points off them, 6 more than we've taken off Newcastle. And if you said Norwich as well, it does say here, it was a good shout, as we have our best win percentage against them as well. But we've played Bolton a lot more times in that time frame. Question number 7. Who scored the first Premier League goal at Craven Cottage? The answer is Sir Barry Hales. In a 2-0 win against Sunderland, Louis Saha scored the second goal there. But the answer we're looking for is Lord Barry Hales. Question number 8. Fulham had never scored a Premier League hat-trick before hitting 3 in the 2011-2012 season. Whose came first? Was it Andrew Johnson, Clint Dempsey, or Pavel Pogrebniak's? It was Andrew Johnson in a 6-0 win over QPR. Let me repeat that. A 6-0 win over QPR. Yes, Andrew Johnson. One of the many times we've utterly thrashed QPR. Next was Clint Dempsey against Newcastle. I remember that very well. And then Pavel Pogrebniak versus Wolves. So let me just stress that one more time. Sorry to go over it, but yes, a 6-0 win over QPR. Question number 9. Ryan Sessegnon became our youngest scorer when he netted against Cardiff in August 2016, breaking a record that had been set just 11 days earlier by whom? The answer was Dennis Adeniran. Dennis Adeniran. He had scored on his debut against Leyton Orient. So Dennis Adeniran. There we go. And question number 10. What was significant about Maurice Volt's goal against Chelsea in December 2006? Well, it was the 15,000th Premier League goal in history. He scored the 15,000th Premier League goal. We went on to draw that game 2-2 at Stamford Bridge, with Carlos Bocanegra also got on the score sheet as well that day. So there we go, the 15,000 goal. Right, there we go. Again, possible 10 points there. So mark yourselves out of 10. We're going to move on to the answers for the Fulham Managers round. Question number 1. Which manager ended his promotion-winning season with more points? Was it Kevin Keegan or Jean Tigana? The answer, both. They both got the same points, okay? Both of them ended with 101 points. There's also written here, apologies, bit of a trick question. I don't think you need to apologise to anyone, guys. People should know that answer. I didn't have a clue. Question number 2. How many England caps did Scott Parker win? The answer, 18. He got 18 England caps. Probably should have been more, but there was a lot of competition in the England midfield in his era of playing. So there we go, 18. Question number 3. Which country did Slavisa Jokanovic represent at World Cup 98 and Euro 2000? The answer, Yugoslavia. Okay, it's Yugoslavia. If you put down Serbia and Montenegro or Serbia, they are incorrect answers, as it was known as Yugoslavia until 2003. I run a strict quiz, guys. If you put those down, I'm not accepting those answers. I will only be accepting Yugoslavia. All right? Question number 4. Which manager won more points per games? Scott Parker, Slavisa Jokanovic, Roy Hodgson or Jean Tigana? It's a tough one, but the answer is Parker. He's won 1.6 points per game so far, just ahead of Slav, who had 1.56. Then it's Roy with 1.41 points per games, and then Tigana with 1.38. Question number 5. How many times did player-manager Mickey Adams start himself in the Division 3 promotion campaign of 1996 to 97? Was it 0, 2, 5 or 10? The answer was 2 times. He had to start himself twice at left back due to injury problems. Okay, so there we go, twice. Question number 6. Who did Roy Hodgson take with him to Liverpool in 2010? I remember being very, very emotional when Roy Hodgson left us. Very emotional indeed. And he was harsh enough to take with him the one and only Paul Konchesky, who I loved as a player. So there we go. We will accept Paul Konchesky or Mike Kelly as a coach. If we're going to, I think most of you would have put Paul Konchesky, but if anyone did put Mike Kelly as a coach, I tell you what, we're going to accept that too. Okay. No points though if you said Ray Lewington, who didn't join up with Roy again until he got the England job. Okay. So there we go. Question number 7. How many Fulham managers have later gone on to manage England? The answer is 3. Okay, Bobby Robson, Kevin Keegan, and Roy Hodgson. So the answer is 3. Question number 8. Which major tournament did Jean Tigana win with France in his playing days? Was it, the answer was it? I thought I was reading the question again there. Apologies, guys. The answer was Euro 1984. Euro 1984. Also, a little fact for you guys, which you can, let people know when you're next down the pub, whenever that may be, a couple of months' time maybe. He also won French Player of the Year and came second in the Ballon d'Or that year. Okay, little fact for you there. Question number 9. How old was Chris Coleman when he was named Fulham manager? He was 32, the youngest permanent manager in Premier League history. Good old cookie. And question number 10, the final question of our Fulham managers round. Who was Martin Jol's first signing as Fulham manager? I'm in mad respect if you got this one. I had to ring a couple of people at Fulham to make sure I was pronouncing this correctly, but Kasper Szymocki. I hope I got that right. Kasper Szymocki. It's the Hungarian goalkeeper, signed on July the 11th, 2011, 2 days before John Arne Riis's arrival. So there we go. Kasper Smudgy. Okay, we're going to move on to our final round, which was our Europa League run, the Europa League season. Again, here we go, a possible 10 answers. These are the answers now. Question number 1, how many European matches did we play in 2009, 2010? It was 19. 19 overall that season. We played 63 competitive games, but the answer we're looking for is 19. Question number 2, how many of those did we lose? Not many is the answer. Just 4 games we lost. And for those that don't remember, we lost to Roma, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, harsh, and Amcar Perm as well. So Roma, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Amcar Perm, but the answer we're looking for is 4. Question number 3, 3 future Fulham players scored against us in Europe. Can you name them? Okay, 1 point for all 3 here. Okay, Stefano Akaka, his full name actually being Stefano Chuka Akaka, John Arnorisa, and Mulden Petric. Okay, so I'm looking for all 3 answers, but 1 point, okay, for all 3, okay? Being strict in this competition. Question number 4, how many of the teams that we met in the knockout stages started the campaign in the Champions League group stages? 3 of the teams, they were Juventus, Wolfsburg, and Atletico Madrid. Shakhtar Donetsk were in the qualifying for the Champions League, but didn't make it through to the group stages, okay? So it is just 3. Question number 5, who did Clint Dempsey come on for in the home win over Juventus? Just picturing the chip now, just picturing it. It was Kelly, Stephen Kelly. Roy wanted to go for the win in normal time. Of course he did. He was ambitious. No messing around, Roy. Good old Roy. So he brought Clint on. He brought Clint on. He pushed Simon Davis as well to right back. And we went for it. And of course, the rest is stunning history. Question number 6. Who delivered the corner for Zoltan Gera's winner against Hamburg? A beautiful moment. And one of the many times I've cried at Craven Cottage. There we go, a little fact for you. It was Simon Davis. Simon Davis, an out-swinging delivery from the corner between the Hammy and the Johnny Haynes stands. Simon Davis. Beautiful moment. Okay, question number 7. What injury was Bobby Zamora struggling with in the latter stages? It was his Achilles injury. It cost him an England place at the World Cup too, sadly, but the Achilles injury. That's what we're looking for. We'll accept Achilles, but that's it. Question number 8. In what minute did... painful question to even ask. In what minute did Diego Forlan score the winner in the final? We were so close to penalties, and honestly, I think we would have done them. We would have done them. It was the 116th minute. 4 minutes from penalties. Moving on, question number 9. How many times did we have a player sent off in the competition? It was 4. We had 4 players sent off. Stephen Kelly at home to Roma, Eric Nevland and Paul Konchesky in Rome, and Danny Murphy at Shakhtar. Always struggle with that one. Shakhtar. There we go. Shakhtar Donetsk. So 4 is the answer we're looking for there. And the final question, question number 10. Zubabulula. Oh, man. It's hard sometimes getting names right. Zubabula, Pansil, Risa, Dempsey, Nevland. Who were the 2 other players missing from our bench at the final? What are those 2 names? Okay. It was Jonathan Greening. He came on for Danny Murphy. And it was as well Kagisho Digashwi, who was an unused substitute. So Kagisho Digashwi. So there we go. There is all of the answers to our 40 questions. We're looking for a possible 40 points here, okay? Now, there were some really, really tough ones. So if you got anywhere near 40, mad respect to you, honestly. But let us know how you got on. Tweet us. Yeah, let us know what you got out of 40. Really, really exciting. But it's been an absolute pleasure doing your Sunday evening Fulham quiz, and hell, we may do it again sometime. But thank you very much for playing along, and hopefully we'll be seeing you guys very, very soon.